Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. This is Two Catholic Dudes. My name is Ryan Klaus.
My name is Jack Cleary.
And as always, we are not priests. We are not theologians. We're just two Catholic dudes, and we're talking about our faith.
And tonight, we have a guest. It is my other younger brother, Jack.
We're completing the cycle of Clearys.
Yeah.
Hello.
You've got 2 episodes with Brendan, and now we got Jack. Say hello, Jack.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Before we jump in, I have a question for Danny. What are you always doing with the mic at the beginning of this episode? At the beginning of all episodes, he's always fiddling with the microphone.
This was it.
Here's the deal. We have that little pre-roll, and I don't know what to do with my hands. So I just pretend that I'm typing.
It's late, guys. The wheels are coming off. It's like
now I can't do that anymore because everyone will be
the
like,
secret's
he's
out.
It's like when the DJ is in the doing stuff, and you're like, it's just
he's
play,
not doing
play
anything
on your iPod because you're not turning any knobs.
The secret's out, guys. But yeah, the wheels are coming off. It's late. It's like 2. What time is it? Like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock?
1:40 a.m.
Yeah, it's 1:40 in the morning
January
right now.
24th.
We're blowing through 2 podcasts in a row.
Yeah. And I'm thankful that Jack was a last-minute grab to be our guest tonight, and he did the drive with me. Drove an hour and 15 minutes here. But we don't live together anymore, so it was a nice to reconnect.
We don't. No, I made him pick me up.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes it's great, like my brother lives far away. He was across the country. Now he lives in Seattle, which is still pretty far. But, you find opportunities to connect. And so this is a great opportunity for you guys to connect on the air, or for everyone else that's listening.
Yeah, well, it was funny because I was sitting eating, getting ready to drive down here. And, Ryan was like, man, we got to get a guest. And Jack had texted me about something. And I went, oh, Jack. It was just the weirdest timing. And I said, what are you doing tonight? You want to come to Anaheim? And he just was like, sure.
Yep.
And then here we are.
Sounds fun. Yeah. No, it's crazy because it didn't really hit me until Danny and Brendan moved out of how much I always saw them. And then when they moved out of how much less I saw them, whenever I would see them, be like, oh, I haven't seen you for weeks.
Yeah.
When usually I would see you every day.
It's pretty wild. Don't be afraid of that microphone. It's not gonna get you.
Hello.
Obviously you've been to Orange County before. You've probably been to Disneyland, right?
Yes. I've had a season pass. Unfortunately, not this year, but I have made the drive down many a time. So
if you probably don't have your bearings because you guys came late at night, but I'm literally 4 miles from Disneyland right here. So if you just go down there a block down and you go down the street 4 miles, you're right at Disneyland. Yeah. I actually walked it the other night. I was at the NAMM show, which is the big music convention. It's at the convention center right across the street from Disneyland, and which it's I don't know. It wasn't great for me because the convention is literally just for if you're a Guitar Center, you're going to check out what all the new vendors are putting out, all the new tech, all the new guitars and everything like that. But you can't buy anything. There's 120,000 people there, so it's you can't network with anybody. There's just too many people. So anyways, I left at 4 and there was nothing going on, and I was like, I'll just walk for a while. I ended up walking 5 miles back home, but it was kind of cool. It's a really great way to get the lay of the land when you're not speeding by in a car, You're
just how would I, if I was lost, could I get home from here?
Yeah. So now I know I can.
Good for you.
So
Good.
I'm in walking distance from Disneyland now. It's pretty cool.
That's
5 whole miles.
5 miles though.
Hey, that's not bad.
Sure. That's probably how much you probably walk more than that when you're at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
absolutely.
my gosh, absolutely.
I'll comment in. I say this once an episode when I say comment in.
And no one ever does.
Beauty and the Crazy does, for sure.
Sure, yeah. Sure.
Thank you for always commenting in. Do you guys wear pedometers when you're at Disneyland? Or that's not even a thing. It's on your phone tracker to track Fitbits, I guess, track your miles.
Almost every time I've gone to Disneyland, someone has had a Fitbit, and in the middle of the day, they go, oh, I've met my steps. It's of course you have. We're at Disneyland.
I turned that feature off of my Apple Watch because I didn't like when I was I remember one time
you took 24 steps
I
today.
was scootering across the parking lot to the church, and it buzzed. It's you seem like you're working out. Should we track it? And I was don't tell me. I want to talk to you.
Did it speak to you? It was
no,
hi
it just
there.
buzzed and said, hey. This little man walking. He's like, you look like
I
you're
used-
exercising. It feels
like you're exercising. Nice. I used to work at a restaurant, and I think I would walk like an average of 7 miles every night.
Wild.
Yeah, it's good exercise.
Nice.
I don't do that anymore. I sit by a computer all day or behind a piano.
Yeah.
That's my job. It's cool. So Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for completing the cycle of Clearys again. What do we want to talk about tonight?
Well, here's the thing: is I when I brought in when we got the idea of talking to Jack, is him and all the three of us have kind of grown up Catholic, but Jack and I grew up Catholic together, and we are like 6 years apart in age.
Yep.
And so we had very similar and very different experiences. When Jack went through his confirmation process and his program, I was actually working as one of the youth ministers at the time, and my mom was working in the program and stuff like that. So, and then you were in Ryan's choir that we always hear about. You were in that choir.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different experiences that we're going to talk about of, just kind of growing up, in the Mass. And speaking of that, of Mass.
We're not going to forget this episode.
We're going to ask you our question we ask all of our guests. What is the craziest, weirdest, most interesting unique thing that's ever happened to you during Mass?
Interesting. I definitely have embarrassing, but it was interesting. It was a good learning experience. So when I was in Ryan's choir, the good old days, they were trying a new system with the teen choir to make someone go up and be the constant responsorial person to always like raise their arm when everyone is supposed to sing.
The cantor.
The cantor. That's the word. I could not think of the word for the life of me. The cantor. Because always someone would go up when they would sing the responsorial song and lift their arms up, but they wanted more of a
psalmist.
A psalmist. Yes.
So that's actually a great point.
Did I nail it?
The psalmist, yeah.
I am killing.
So there's the psalmist and there's the cantor. So we wanted to have an actual cantor so that basically we can invite the congregation in to sing at all points of the Mass, because that should be the important goal of us as a choir singing. I'm gonna let you finish your story, but then I want to have a point on that.
And they picked you.
So we picked you to be the cantor, right?
They picked me. And
continue.
And I was so nervous. I don't know why, but like I've done so many things like in front of people on stage, but I was petrified to do this.
So you not only had to raise your arms, but you had to introduce the songs,
yes,
right?
so I had to introduce every song. Okay. So I was supposed to introduce the communion song after the priest had blessed communion.
Right.
But
like at the normal time for communion. You're supposed to
after the Eucharistic prayer and all that stuff.
After the Lamb of God.
Lamb of God, all that. Then you...
Yeah. That's when you should introduce it.
When the communion song. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when you should introduce it. Is that what I did? No. I went up there in the middle of his prayer and went, I think this is the end of it, because I wasn't even focused because I was so nervous, and I just went.
People weren't even kneeling yet.
Nope. And I just went, our communion song will be the glory to God. And then immediately after I stopped talking to the priest.
Those were all the wrong.
Those were all.
Okay, so I hope if you said all that was just like
it's all wrong.
It's all wrong, sure. So
all wrong. I'm sure that's not exactly what I said, but
if we were doing the glory to God at communion, then that was our bad too. So, yes, announce the communion song at the wrong time. What kind of reaction did we get here?
It's silence. The priest just immediately went into his prayer.
and
immediately, right when he started talking, I went, oh no, I completely messed up. And I just slowly stepped down from the stand and sat in my little chair.
Just
and
shameful.
Then I had to go back
run away.
Do it again.
And reintroduce
the
song.
All right, did you like comment on it and be like, all right, now the communion song, or did you just like continue on like nothing happened?
I just acted like nothing happened.
But me again. Sorry about that.
Hi. This time
you
it's for
remember
real.
Me from the mistake earlier.
No, I was just like, it's fine. Everyone will just. But I could tell everyone's face was like, yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah, but you know what? That's
very good. Now you're doing it.
That's what happens with youth choirs, because here's the thing: we want to empower the youth. We want to give them responsibilities. Is everything going to happen perfectly? No. Things happen like that. And you were like 12, 13 years old, something like that.
I was like 16.
This was like last year.
I was old enough to know better. I might.
No, but like
I blame your director.
No, that could be on us for not forming you. We would just say, oh, honestly, that was probably on us because we go, oh, we know this. We're seasoned in this, but we take for granted that it's something that we know so well, but it might be brand new for someone that we put this on. So like we should have formed you much better to know exactly when, or like thrown up our hand and go, no, not right now.
Wait, stop.
But
what
you know
are
what?
you doing?
Stuff happens, and I think I mentioned it on a previous episode, or just recently this happened to me. I was so exhausted that I started singing Amen when I was supposed to sing the memorial acclamation. Like, what a disaster. I was just like, Amen, oh, and we eat this bread and drink. I was like, oh.
It was just a beautiful new intro.
And then I said it before, too. I announced the wrong church one time. Like, oh, my gosh, stuff happens, you know? It's always a great learning experience if you don't let it traumatize you. That's my whole life MO. It's just like learn from your mistakes and get back up and be like, well, I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
And, you know, I tell the kids, I probably told you, it's like, all right, well, don't do that again. But, like, you survived, right? So now you know.
Yeah.
So now you know really when that communion song should be announced. So use everything as a learning experience.
So you made it through. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let's dive into like we growing up, how we grew up Catholic and how we grew up, you know, getting to know our faith and how it was a very big part of our life.
Oh yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
You know, Mass was it was
You're the Catholic
must.
family.
We
yeah,
go to Mass.
it was
Tried and true, you know?
That was just what we did. There was no like question about it.
But I think it's interesting bringing on the youngest brother of three, and especially with the oldest brother being involved in youth ministry and, you know, and your parents being heavily involved in ministries there. Like, are there certain expectations that did you feel stresses? Pressures, you know?
Absolutely. It was just, when I walked in, it was very much like, oh, you're John and Julie's son, or oh, you're Danny and Brendan's brother. That is what I always got walking in, whether it was starting from like when I was in elementary school CCD, and then when I went to junior high ministry, and it really, at first I was like, I'm and it really wasn't until my second year of confirmation where I was just like, you know what, yeah, I am, but I'm a completely like different person than they are. And I really, through just being outgoing and really being like, yes, our family like has their faith and that's important as like a unity, but I also have my individual sense of faith. And so I really dove into that and embraced that. And that just it didn't really matter. And it was awesome that my family was there, and it was really a blessing. At first I didn't really see it, but through lots of prayer and understanding what it meant, it turned out to be a beautiful thing. But yeah, definitely pressures.
Nope. Well, and like, I know that it was probably weird because you know you were on the team, you're in confirmation, and I was in charge.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of the other kids like were like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Jack's brother's running this program, he can do whatever he wants. And I actually think, like, because I got it harder when I knew the youth minister really well. And I think almost like you're saying, the pressure of is I expected more of you. Like, I expected you, if I didn't have anyone to answer the questions, like, oh, Jack's going to answer.
Yep.
You know, and that was a big thing that I would always kind of throw at you, like, hey, you know, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And, you know, leaning on you a lot in class or at youth group to participate or.
Right.
And you are very outgoing, so that definitely helped you when you were on the leadership team. You were very outgoing. That was a very helpful thing. But something I want to go back to a little bit is even when we were younger than that, I remember we altar served.
Yes, we did.
Quite a bit.
Lots of times.
And here's the thing is our dad is one of the coolest guys I've ever had the privilege of knowing.
We might complete the entire Cleary cycle. We've done the brothers now, but like have mom and dad on one by one.
I want to get my dad on at some point. He's just fun.
He's a fun guy.
But he takes Mass and our faith very, very seriously. Like the more seriously than anyone else in of his siblings or anything like that. It's so funny because like our parents are like super Irish Catholics, came from Irish Catholic families, and like of all of the siblings on my mom's side of the family, only my mom is practicing Catholic. Side of my dad's family, only he out of his siblings are practicing Catholic, and then they just got married.
Yep.
And all the kids, we're the three of us are the only ones that are really
only go to
practicing
church,
the Catholic faith. But my dad was very much like, we had to dress collared shirts.
Oh yeah.
No jeans. Nice shoes. Like, it was important that we
No
we
shorts.
dressed.
That was
no
huge.
shorts.
To this day, if I see someone wearing shorts and masks, my mind's just like,
What are you doing?
I can't wear shorts.
I've
and
sent
masks.
kids home. I mean, even if they had a solo or something in my choir, they show up in shorts. I go, if you have time to run home and change, you can come back and sing. Otherwise, we're gonna find. Sorry, that's not how we dress in church.
Yeah, he just just made sure that was always known to us, that we had to dress our best at church.
And that speaks highly about your parents, because we said it in I think we said it in another episode, like Catholicism is such a family-oriented religion.
Yeah.
It all stems from these family values, and I think there's stats where, in divorced families, the kids are much, X amount less likely to continue the faith when, even if they are together, if the father doesn't go to church, the kids are way less likely to continue with the faith. So to the fact that your parents are not only have an amazing display of marriage and what it means to be a parents, but they're raising 3 amazing kids in the faith and putting strict rules on how you dress and how you act and really, but in not only telling you the rules, but showing you with how they are holding up their faith and being great examples of their living faith for you guys.
Yeah, and I don't remember, like, it just mass and behaving in mass was always just like so important. Like, you see like a lot of little kids that like get taken to the back or things like that. Like, I just don't remember any of us having to do with that, because like dad was just like, you behave in church.
Yeah,
like you're there for God, and God wants you to behave, so you behave. And like if we were good, we got to go to the farm. Do you remember that?
I remember the donuts.
The donuts? We'd get donuts?
We'd get donuts.
Well, we got to go to the farm.
We got to go to the farm.
Yep. I mean, parenting is tough. I'm sure. I'm not a parent. I don't have any kids.
Me neither.
But
Jack?
I don't.
Right on. You heard it first. No kids here.
No
but
kids
from
for
what I
Jack.
hear, it's not that easy. It's pretty difficult.
Doesn't look easy.
Doesn't look very easy.
Oh no.
My brother has in about 1 week they're due with their second kid. So by the time this episode is
Amazing.
out,
Nice.
So prayers for that.
yeah, prayers that everything
Went smoothly.
came out
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But prayers for my brother and sister-in-law and their new baby to be, or hopefully, God willing, that they have a second amazing child. But anyways, I've seen, they're doing such an amazing job with their first child, but they just have no time anymore, and like it's all consuming. And again, when you have a child, it's your life is now in service of this child. It's not about, your life isn't about you anymore. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get that.
Like I had a friend that had a kid, and he goes, it's not just about keeping myself alive anymore. I have to keep this little thing alive, and it doesn't want to stay alive. It runs everywhere.
That's why I don't even have a dog. I'm like, it's not even fair to the dog, because I wouldn't be able to.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. You never feel ready. You never are. There's never a point in your life when you're going to be like, I'm officially ready to get married. I'm officially ready to have children. You just step up to that challenge when that comes, right? So if I got a dog, I would step up and I would love the heck out of that dog, and I wouldn't let it die, because
That's good.
But your parents, well, I had a point, guys. Again, it's 2:00 in the morning. Wheels are falling off. But what I was gonna say is, like, it's difficult. That's what I was saying. It's difficult to raise children, and so to bring them to mass, again, even harder. I think I said it once. Like, I have a buddy who has 2 kids now, and when I was doing music up in Ventura County, he would go, and his wife doesn't go to church with him, but he would bring both his kids, and he would have like one. I think he was holding them both at one time, walking up to communion, because he's not going to leave them there. So he's literally holding them both on both arms, receiving communion on the tongue, going back, and they're both like screaming and shouting and doing all but he still makes that commitment to go. But he's having a tough time again because he's going by himself.
Right.
So your parents both going, and they were setting a precedence to for how you guys should act. The last point I'm going to make about like how hard it is to have kids in mass regardless, bring them there, show them this is what we do as a family. But as a community, the sound of kids crying and acting up should be a beautiful thing to a point. Right? We talked about it in one episode about the crying room, whether churches should have a crying room or not. I'm on the fence about it, but I kind of don't think so, because hearing a baby cry is a beautiful thing, because that's a sign of our continuous growth in the Catholic Church. That's going to be a new member of the Catholic Church. Even little kids who are acting up, but at some point you got to start like disciplining and so walk that line.
Sure.
But there's a beauty to it. So,
and I'm sure that we might have been little terrors at some point. I just don't really remember.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I just remember. I'll always remember how important my dad made Mass out to be, and it reflected me in my adult life that I don't miss Mass.
Yep.
Mass is important, and we go and it was just always a really, really big deal because it was a big deal to them, so it was a big deal to us, and then it became a big deal to us as we had our own journeys,
right,
walking through.
Jack, I was gonna say, being, all the pressure that we talked about, being the third child of a very Catholic family who they're all involved, and Danny being the youth minister and stuff, I think it could have gone one of two ways. You could be where you're at right now, which is a great example of living Catholic faith and values, or just completely shied away and said, this is too much pressure, I don't want to deal with this. And I've seen a lot of people go that route and say, I'm done being Catholic. You guys are Mr. and Mrs. Catholic, and you're doing your thing, but I'm going to go my way.
Right.
So I commend you for still being a true example of Catholic values. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It had a lot to do with my family too, because they, as much as the pressure was there, they never put it on me. Both my mom and Danny and Brendan were both. There's three of you. All three were heavily involved in youth ministry, but they all really pushed me to just be myself and to spread the faith in my own way. And it really helped me just relax and be like, I'm here because I love God, I love my faith, and I want to spread it, and I want to grow and learn more. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're all so different, because we Brendan and I are athletes, and we're into sports and stuff, and Jack is he likes theater and doing that kind of stuff. So it was completely different. But the faith was something that we all did together, which was cool. Did you ever struggle in high school, being involved in your faith, or knowing that people were because I didn't struggle too much because I was super involved with the church thing, but I know that you did a lot of other stuff in high school, way more than I did. Was it ever an issue for you being involved in faith?
Yeah, definitely. It was nice since I did have a giant group of friends who I had from church and just were in my life, and I spent so much time with them. But definitely whenever I was at rehearsals for when I did theater in high school, I was always known as the church kid. Everyone's like, oh, Jack's the church guy. He lives by the rules, and he doesn't really do anything extreme because he's the church guy. And I really embraced that. I was just like, yep, I'm the church guy. I'm the theater church guy, and I love God, and that just became my reputation. And a lot of people just love that about me, which was really cool. I did get bullied for it a little bit in high school, but I really just was like, yeah, bring it on. I'm the church guy, and I love it.
Well, I think it helps to keep you. I thought for me, it helps keep you accountable. Mm-hmm. You're if that's what you're gonna think of me, fine, I'm gonna be that, and I'm gonna but it goes one of two ways. Some people are no, I'm gonna prove that I'm not. Mm-hmm. But then other people can kind of be I think you did was that's who I am. Then yeah, that's who I'm gonna be.
Steer into it.
Yeah. I was that's who I am. Watch and I'm gonna show I'm gonna be nice to everyone. I'm gonna love this. I had a group of people who we said a little prayer before every show because there were just, especially in the younger crowd, when I was a senior in high school, it's not really the cool thing to be a church person also in the theater community. So I really was happy that some of these younger kids could see me as, oh, whoa, well, Jack just fully embraces that. No, I'm a theater kid, but I'm also a church guy. And I pray before every show, and I just, that is part of it. I take God with me on stage.
That's just it. We just taled about this. We filmed that episode an hour ago. You guys heard it last week, but that stigma that it's not cool to be Catholic, or it's not cool to be religious. And I
Right.
think that's the bigger issue. It's not cool to be religious in this
Right.
in this secular world that we're living in right now. And there's all this pressure to just live a secular life, and if you are religious, to just hide it away in a corner.
Right.
And we talked about being afraid to post on social media and being afraid to live that holy. And I was afraid, and I was living when I was in high school, like, I wouldn't tell anyone that I went to church. And when I was in my 20s, even, I was like, I don't want to post about it, like we just talked about. But the fact that in high school, even the fact that you got bullied about it, and you said, yeah, well, that's cool, that's who I am, and you just leaned into it and you owned it. When you own it, anytime you're gonna get bullied, if you like embrace it, you're gonna stop getting bullied, and they're gonna be like, oh, they'll start respecting you, and they're gonna be like, oh man, this guy's awesome.
Well,
Yeah, and that's really what it turned into with a lot of my friends. Because at first, like, I could sit here and be like, yeah, they bully me, and I was like, no, yeah, I'm the church guy. But I really struggled with, like, like, I didn't want to bring up that I was going to church. Like, sometimes they'd be like, oh, are you gonna come hang out with us? I was like, no, I can't. I'm going to youth ministry. Or, oh no, it's Sunday. Like, I have to go. I'm helping with youth group. And they're like, oh, come on. Like, you go there enough. Like, God is still gonna love you. Just like little jabs like that. But and you know, I didn't really like. I was like, but
like, I know God's gonna love me. That's why I'm going.
I'm going because I want to. And it finally came down. Like, at first I was just like, yeah, I gotta go, yeah. And so I really struggled with it. And eventually I was just like, no, I'm going because I want to go.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. People just were like, oh, Jack's the church guy. Okay, cool. Like, we love that about him. It just became another, and people started respecting that about
and like
me.
I said before, you never know what kind of ripple effect that has.
Mm-hmm.
For your perspective, everyone just started respecting that. But what if someone was like, what's he on about? As your brother's
What is he
always,
on about?
you know, but like maybe somebody had some sort of conversion moment, and you don't even know about it, because they're like, man, he's like, there must be something to this whole God thing, you know, based on like how much, you know, he was getting bullied, and he's still all in, and he's missing these other opportunities because he wants to go to church. There must be something to this.
Yeah.
And then they went on. And you might never know.
Well, what do you think it was that helped you to live so boldly in that, and more lean into it as opposed to reject it and be like, you know, I don't want this.
Family and friends. That was a big, and just my love for being there. It was like, I love being there, so like, I don't really mind. And I really just had a great support system at home, and just I had a whole clan of people who had my back, and then eventually even the people who were kind of giving me a hard time had my back at the end of the day. Like, I was just really blessed with some amazing friends, both who went to church with me and both who didn't go to church with me.
Right.
So
I would always make the joke because if you're dealing with high school students in any facet, there's drama. There's always drama in youth ministry, always.
There's drama in the world.
In the
everywhere
world.
you go.
And in youth ministry, there's a ton of it. And like, somehow I would always make the joke, because I was the youth minister, right? Jack was never in it. He knew about it, but he was always outside of it. And he was just like, so like, I would always be like, hey, did you hear what's going on with this? And he could give me all the details of it, but he was never involved in it somehow.
That's awesome.
He was always in like both camps. Like, he's like, both people are talking to me, and I'm just trying to, like, you know, hey,
Life's
it's gonna
too
be
short
okay.
to get involved in drama, you know?
it really is. It's
It's
my
absolutely.
goodness.
I want to hear a little bit about your experiences in the choir, because I told you guys how bad of a choir director I was at some point, and that's really when he was in the choir. So I want to see from your perspective how you thought about it. So just let's take a quick break. We're going to hear about that. All right, so we're going to hear about Jack, his experience with the choir, but as I was like, we had to pause. We still have to pause because there's the 30-minute limit on the camera, right? Which, guys, get on that. Can we get on the
Where are the scientists?
the scientists fix the whole camera
Where are the
situation.
scientists?
Dude, that's
But,
Ryan's
like-
thing. Whenever he has a question about anything, he goes, how have the scientists not invented this yet? How have they not figured this out? And he always generalizes just, all the scientists should be,
scientists.
stop doing whatever you're doing and work on this problem that I'm having.
Get on it, right? But okay, so I have my phone here sitting on the table, and I have like a live feed of what's happening on the camera over here. So I like look down every now and then to make sure we're still recording. I look at the computer to make sure we're still recording audio. But when I look down, all I see is this giant mop of hair. So if anyone's watching, I apologize, because when we have a guest, like I want to give the guest attention, but literally all you guys probably see is just this mop right here. So
yeah,
it's beautiful. No, not
apologies.
yet. The mop is
I'm
gorgeous.
I'm envious of it. I'm over here balding, so
I figure while I got it, I might as well grow it.
sure.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Jack, you were okay. I was a new choir director, but you were still a child in the choir. So I was still cutting my teeth, and it wasn't so great, I think. But what did you think? What was your experience?
So I started choir earlier than most do, because I started when I was in 8th grade, and most people usually go in like 9th, 10th grade. I started going into it because I felt that singing and through songs, that's how I really felt the most spiritually present during Mass.
You're like, yeah, you're like, it was your form of prayer.
Yeah, it was the form of prayer that connected me to God the most. So I was like, if I can share that and just build that out into the Mass, that would be fantastic. And it just gave me a better understanding of just the order of the Mass and the themes of the Mass, if that makes sense. Like, you know, and I never noticed any issues with the.
Well, here's the thing: you weren't formed, so you didn't know what.
That's true.
You didn't know that anything was not right because that's just all you ever knew, right? But so now that you're older and you probably know a little bit more, is there anything that was like weird that you noticed? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. I know all the weird things that we.
You know
doing,
all the weird
things. We've talked about a lot of them, but I mean, maybe you don't have an answer, but because we were very much just rock and roll.
It was it was very
rock and
roll.
Mass,
like
huh?
There was one Mass I feel like we sang Airplanes.
There's no way at Mass.
I could be wrong. Maybe that was at
probably. Honestly, we had that.
Yeah,
mashup.
it was the combo. It was Our God is an Awesome God with Airplanes.
At Mass, there's no way.
It was probably
a
retreat Mass, but it was still a Mass.
You think there's no way? But we probably
it was
did
at Saw.
Yeah.
Was it at
the Saw closing Mass? I think maybe.
So at a summer
we did
camp,
the motions.
At a summer camp, we like put together the secular song.
That was it.
Airplanes from like 2008
It
or
was
something.
probably the closing song.
Into Awesome God, the song Awesome God, and we had all these hand signs and stuff, so I'm sure we probably did that at Mass because
that was probably it at St. Mary's Seminary.
The thing that always
what a nightmare.
rang in my mind with that song is they always would be like, okay, this side Airplanes, that's the life, that's the life keeping you from God, that's
secular world,
exactly, and this side is Awesome God, that is God reeling you back in and just making you feel just so thrilled and happy to be alive. So we need two groups so they can sing to each other, and everyone would go sing Airplanes. It'd be like me and 5 other kids be like, "Oh God, is an awesome God."
Like, the awesome God part is the cool part. Be like, you're the problem that you ministers are fighting. Is the cool part is not the church part.
Exactly.
So
wow, what a nightmare. We did horrible things.
So I guess that looking back, that probably wasn't the greatest. now that it's dawned on me, but
never even.
That's great. See, we got this new perspective on the terrible things that we did as music ministers.
Yeah, you know, like, because I always felt like I was like, no, don't sing Airplanes, sing Awesome God. Thumbs up.
But like,
yeah,
all
you
these
always wanted to be on the Awesome God side.
Yeah,
man,
liturgical abuse. We're the problem, really. That's I go back to us not being formed,
right?
You know, and so we didn't know any better. We had to learn and grow. But then we were teaching in turn. We were teaching them that like this is the cool thing to do at Mass, and they don't know any better.
Like, sure.
So they're like, that sounds great, and it is a snowball effect. So you know there is merit to what people say as liturgical abuse, right?
Right.
Because things can get out of hand really quickly.
You were like you had your Christmas rock and roll.
The Christmas rock and roll thing.
Oh, we always did those.
And okay, as somebody, you were in the choir, and like when we first started, we just did Carol of the Bells instrumentally. Like you guys would just stand there and watch, right?
The first I feel like minute and a half was just music, and we would just kind of be like, here, we're here. And I always watch Monsignor just take a bow while this is what
a nightmare.
The deacon and the priest would just be like, Blessed be God. Just turn around and start persisting out to this while like all the teens were like, all right, when do we start singing?
But then you didn't, I think, for a while.
And no, we did not. And then once the priest left the building, it was hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, da 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 da, and it just transformed into like 17 different songs. I think like
No, that
2
was
of
years
them
later,
were
years
religious.
I'm dying.
It's oh god.
It was just, I always remember that envision of the priest bowing for the altar before he processed out just to this.
Guys, I talked about how bad
ripping electric guitar.
I talked
Holy
about
moly.
how bad the stuff we did was, but like you didn't really get a feel for it until some of these
Dude,
stories.
Jack
so
just
like,
laying on the line.
You know, it started with like, no, it was all fine. And they started reminding me of things.
it
and
was
I
not
like, "Ooh,
fine, you guys. It was not fine.
Maybe that wasn't the right way to go.
So form your musicians. That's that. Now that I know what to do, it's like I wish I was formed because we were teaching kids the wrong thing. We were like,
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, I remember at that
Drives me
time
crazy.
singing it. I was like, this is so cool. Like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, this is what we should be doing. And now, now I've learned.
but the thing is, you've learned just because like you're still associated with us. But like, what about all the other kids that were in the choir that they probably still think, oh, that was great, and they still think like, let's do
Right.
that again. And the whole congregation, like, again, they were probably just like, what in the world is happening right now? So like, it's just a mess. But like, the musicians. You need to be formed.
Don't put your music before the mass.
Exactly.
You know.
So this came back. Oh, that swings back around to what we were talking about at the beginning when you were the cantor. We wanted to make you a cantor because we want to, for one, empower the kids to have opportunities to lead in the mass, to lead as the psalmist, to lead as the cantor, to lead. We talked about it before as altar servers, as ushers, as hospitality, as EMs, as all those things. And so we let you be a cantor because it's great having the youth choir up there.
Right.
The parents love seeing their kids. I'd never directed a kids choir, but at my new church I direct like a kids choir. I've talked about it, like kindergarten through 5th grade. That's a whole nother ball game, right? But like the parents are like, they eat it up, and they're like taking pictures and videos and stuff. It's a little much, but like they're literally like reaching over my head as I'm playing piano, like taking pictures of their video of their kids singing. Like it's a little much. But like, okay, so the parents love seeing their kids, but the point is not just to watch them and listen to the kids sing. But the point of any music at mass is to get the congregation to join in song and lift their voices together. So that's why I said, okay, we have this youth choir, but Jack, you're going to be the cantor because we need to let them know this isn't a show.
Screwed it up.
This isn't a show. Then he just botched the whole thing.
And then they were like, do we sing? And then the priest started saying the prayer and like, oh no.
It's not now, right?
Now.
But to raise your arms and say, join us in song together. This is our choir. This isn't us as a performance, but it's together as a congregation lifting our voices in one. So the experience with you in the choir, I'm sorry we did so many weird things, but it's nice to look back and see how we've grown.
On a brighter note, Jack, what were some of your favorite songs to sing at mass? What were some of the songs you really enjoyed singing? Because you're a singer, you sing on stage. Jack, okay, this is a really weird story. So I've been trying to I like singing in the car. It's like my little secret that I've just now told on the podcast. But I like to sing in the car, and I'll pick songs that I can sing easily. Nice. And I really like the song from The Hunchback of Notre Dame that he sings. It's called Out There, and he just sings, and he's singing about how he wants to be normal. He wants to be one of the people, and I like it. It's easy. Oh. It's right in my, I thought it was in my range. And I put it on as Jack gets in the car to drive down here, and I'm like singing it, and Jack gets in there. And he goes, oh, I used this song in an audition, and just belts it, just killing it. And I'm sitting there like, I'm going to be quiet. Just embarrassing me, like loholding the note, and I'm like,
I like that song. I just sang it for an audition.
Make me look all bad.
I have a point about that a little bit. Like when you're singing in your car by yourself without somebody trying to show you up. What do you normally do when you're singing along? Do you turn the music way down so you can hear yourself?
Absolutely not.
So you do the opposite, right?
Yep.
I'm sure all you guys do the same thing. You crank that music, and you're the best singer in the world for those 5 minutes.
In the world.
Like, nothing could stop you.
Except for Jack.
Except for Jack over here, right? But so you're singing, you crank the music, you sing, you belt, you sound amazing. Right now, love my new pastor. He's awesome, but like the one gripe every mass, he goes, it's too loud. He'll process in the gathering, and then he'll look over and just go. or out to,
like
we just point. If you're not
completely
watching,
different reference. But have you ever been inner tubing?
No.
Like where you remember when we would go to the lake and you would get your boat and like you have a boat and you're like on an inner tube.
Yes, and you would have like symbols to be
the
like
angry kid when you wanted the boat to slow down. You're like slow down.
be like
I
down.
just envision like a grouchy kid like slow down.
Yeah. So he'll either give me a sign like turn it down, or he'll walk over. Like if it's
He just turns it down himself.
the awesome thing about my new pastor is he's involved with like every mass. Even if we have an associate and we have other priests that help out. We have like pastor emeritus and our founding pastor, so we have a lot of help.
Jeez.
But like he'll be on campus and greeting everybody, and he'll do the announcements before and after mass if he's around. But so sometimes, like our associate will process in and he'll just walk around and there's like a little rail right where I'm playing, and he'll just look up and be like, it's too loud.
Too loud.
Oh my God, thanks, Brother John. But so I'll turn it down, as he wishes. But like the thing I think the same effect can happen in the congregation, where if it's too quiet, no one wants to sing because they feel like everyone around them is only going to hear themselves.
Yes.
So I try to push that volume level right on the threshold of too loud, because I think it needs to be loud enough so that people can feel confident enough to sing. So because again, my biggest priority is to get the congregation to sing, and if it's too quiet, they're not gonna.
Well, my recommendation, if you feel discouraged about singing in mass, you think you're gonna be too loud, go to mass with Jack. If you stand next to Jack, Jack sings with all of his heart in every song. Doesn't matter. And I'm always just standing there like, jeez.
I remember this. When I was a kid, and I was, because I don't usually sit in the congregation anymore because I'm always playing. But I remember when I was like a teenager, I would sit in the pews, and there was this one Filipino guy. Filipinos love to sing. Like my choir is awesome. Mostly Filipinos now. It's an amazing thing. But this guy, he would like, everyone has their pews. Everyone's got their pew, and like if someone's in your pew, you're like, bro, don't you know that's my pew? So anyways, we would sit like the same pew every time, and this guy would sit. His pew was behind us, and he would sing every song to the max, so loud. He was the worst singer I've ever heard in my entire life. His voice was so the order of vocals is like, if you start from the top, it's like soprano, and then alto, and then tenor is the guys, and bass. You guys know, like the bass. He was whatever's below bass. That was where his voice was. Like you would almost feel his voice more than just hear it. But like he sang every song down in the basement, but not the right notes at all. But he sang it as loud as humanly possible. And you know what? It was beautiful. Yep. It was beautiful. Sure. So like, I encourage you guys, it doesn't matter what you're bringing. Sing loud. If you're the best singer in the world, that's great. You're going to empower the people around you, or join the choir, right? If you're average, sing loud. If you need some work, then
join the choir.
Join the choir, and you'll get some work. So anyway, whatever facet, sing out loud.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Going back to the family a little bit, and then I still want to hear those songs. Your favorite songs is, we talk about pews. Typical Catholics, right? Where everyone gets made the joke of, oh, it's a Catholic mass, everyone sends them back. You know what? I'm gonna let Jack answer this. Where's our family's pew?
Right in front.
Literally the first pew.
We're usually right behind the lectors.
Because my parents are usually lecturing. But
even when we're not, we're still there.
Front row.
Yep. That's amazing.
That's where they always wanted to be. I think he did that. He was like, you really want to go to the bathroom during mass? You're gonna have to walk all the way. Everyone's gonna see you. Yep. My dad was like, wanted to be as close to Jesus as possible.
Yeah.
So we were the front row always. It's always just how it's been.
That's a beautiful answer. You know, it's also a beautiful answer. If you ask me, well, I don't go to our parish anymore. But you say, "Where's your family's pew?" I say, "We don't have one." because, well, you guys are doing ministry too, but like because we're the ministries that we're doing have me back in the choir and my mom in the choir and my dad ushers and he doesn't have a pew. So like that's a beautiful answer as well. Yeah. Like get involved or sit up front and like be involved. You know, when I was going to school, I would always sit in the back because I was like, I just want to blend in and I don't want to be there. But like be present, be there. Oh yeah, engaged.
No, it's always great whenever it comes down to it where the EMs have to start leaving and then the ushers have to start leaving, and there have just been many times where our entire family is like, all right, let's go, and then we're all going different places, like
just being involved.
2 of us will be ushering, 3 of us will be EMing, and then one of them is sacristan, and so it's just we're all going different directions, but we're all involved, and we're all in the front row. Just
our pew gets cleaned out because everyone's involved in the mass.
And
it's awesome. I love it.
Beautiful.
So anyway, so Jack, tell me, what are a couple of your favorite songs that you love singing? When it comes to the mass,
it took us a long time to get to that question.
But here we are. It's beautiful. I love the Alleluia. Just that is just always like right before the gospel. It's just it's such a good way to just prepare you.
Any particular setting of the Alleluia, Jack?
What do you say?
Halle, halle, hallelujah.
I love that one. That one or the Alleluia, Alleluia,
yours?
Alleluia.
That's mine. That's mine.
Right, and then but I do love the Halle, halle, hallelujah. I like that one.
Good Easter. Easter Alleluia.
That's a good. That just gets you. Like, I am here to celebrate. Like, and that any song that makes you feel like I am here to celebrate is because that's what mass is. It's the celebration.
Absolutely.
So any song like that, like I love "Glory to God,"
the communion song, right?
The great famous communion song.
Danny has a story. He's got to jump in.
I'm gonna explode.
Okay.
Listen. Because Jack's gonna explode when we start talking about this, because it's a story that him and I experienced together during mass that I just remember because we were talking. And we were at mass one time, and I don't know who the choir was or what the situation was. It was like, the choir that's mostly old ladies.
God bless all the old ladies who join all the choirs.
And this lady, she was playing the tambourine.
Old lady tambourine is my favorite kind of tambourine.
She's rocking and rolling on this tambourine. She's
chiming away. Into it. It was a Saturday night. That's why we never saw this choir.
And it was Glory to God, and it was one of those things where like they probably did the chorus 3 or 4 times.
They extended it.
They were just rolling with it, and Jack and I are watching, and this lady's doing the Glory to God, and it like sounded like they were gonna stop.
They were like, so it was like, Glory to God. Start the applause. Glory to God. And we're like, okay, here we go.
And she like had to sit down because she was like so exhausted from tambourine.
Tamborining will take it out of you for sure.
She had to take a seat. But that was another point that reminds me. Something I loved about our parents is that so many people, when the priest leaves, they leave. They're just like, all right, cool.
Oh my gosh.
Mass is over. But our parents were always like, Mass ends when the song is over. We
technically Mass is over. All the
Mass is technically over.
Mass is over.
I loved how we would always stay to finish the final song. Like that's just something I always loved.
So the rite of the liturgy is over after the final prayer. The closing song has, it's not part of the Mass, but it's part of the community. And if you're going to be part of the community, I think you should stay and sing. For me, like as a music composition major, I always love to, when I watch a movie, I stay and watch all the entire credits because I listen to the score because that's when you get to hear the composer's entire. It's like
sometimes I'm like,
I do that for Marvel movies.
Well, yeah, because you want to see what's at the end of it.
Right? At the end of Mass, maybe there'll be some
maybe there's an after song scene.
Well, sometimes we do that.
We runs back up.
We finish the song and then we hit it again. We do a tag.
Yeah.
But I think they. Be a part of the community and stay and sing and join it and lift your voices up in song together.
I love that. That's a great way to state it.
I think that there is a post-Mass scene. And it's whatever scene that you're willing to make yourself by, if you're willing to go meet someone new, if you're willing to talk to the people around you. Like there's always people that you can turn and say hello to be in fellowship with. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the post-Mass scene. That's setting up the next thing you're going to do, because if Mass is calling us to prepare us, to spiritually feed us so that we can go out into the world and make a difference. Don't make a difference.
I love that song too.
And, but then it was setting up the next part of our faith journey for that week is to be able to be in community right then and there. We can do that post-credit scene right there in Mass by being in community.
Boom, there's your mic drop moment for the episode. So what you're going to do is you're going to stay and watch all the credits you're going to sing the closing song, and then you're going to wait for that post-Mass scene.
So you're
going to go
meet
coffee
someone,
and donuts,
chat with someone, be in community.
go talk to the Knights of Columbus, be a knight, or go chat with somebody, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like, be engaged with that community. I think it's so. I've seen so many churches where everyone just bounces right at the end of Mass, and like you get to your cars and you got to get to your brunch, you got to get to whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But like, stay and embrace the community that you have right there.
Well, we would always laugh because we would never be in a rush because my dad always had people to talk to. That was like a running joke.
He talked to everybody.
So did my parents. I was like, guys, wrap it up.
He knew everyone.
Yeah, he knew everyone somehow,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
it is awesome.
And he's involved in Knights of Columbus and everything else around. Like he was just always like the guy.
Unless you really do have somewhere to go, you're like, Dad, wrap it up. You know, we gotta go.
It was only happened once or twice. We're like, Dad, hey, can you go? But but now that's us. Like we stay after Mass and we chat it up.
Yeah. Everyone's doing their own thing and talking to different people, and
it's just to be like, how was your week? Oh, are you excited for the what's coming up this week? Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I miss a little bit of that at my new parish because Sunday mornings I do 3 masses back to back, 8:30, 10, 11:45, and so like people want to come up and chat with me. So like 8:30 is over, and there again I'm like a little bit elevated in the choir area, and so people can walk up and they can like look up and I can look down and we can chat and whatever. So they're like, hey, I just wanted to ask you a question. I'm like, awesome, but I have like 12 seconds because the next group's coming on and we have to like start setting up and rehearse. So I miss that chance to go out and just kind of be one with the community.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's tough. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's the big thing in this episode is don't be afraid to embrace who you are. Jack, I mean, we're going to talk about growing up Catholic, but I think that the biggest thing that you said this episode that I really enjoyed was that you lived boldly in your faith, even when it wasn't popular. You sing boldly out. You sing out in Mass, not being, I'm going to sing loud because I love God and I love singing and I'm going to give this back to Him. And you live boldly. You sung boldly. Everything that you did was really not being afraid and living outwardly. One thing I've always admired about you, even though you're my younger brother, something I look up to you is you never really let what other people thought kind of weigh you down. You were like, this is who I am. And you're comfortable in your own skin, and you're just like, this is who God made me to be, and this is who I'm going to be. And I think that showed through when you lived your faith, regardless of what stage of life you were at or whatever else. And I think that's a really, really cool thing. So that, I pray that you'll always continue to do that and have that in your life.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but it's been cool. So I had a great time chatting about all this stuff this episode.
Yeah, this was great.
That's
this
it.
awesome.
I don't have anything else to add for your mic drop moments. I do have one more question though for Jack, because we haven't missed this since our one of our first guests, but we asked our question at the beginning.
Yeah,
but
we haven't had a guest in a while.
We haven't had a guest in a bit, so we want to ask you what your favorite board game is.
Disney's Villainous.
Oh, it's like you had that prepared.
Disney's Villainous. It's
what is
amazing.
that game? Tell me about it. In like 12 words or less.
It is a strategy game where you play, you choose a Disney villain, and you just have to complete their plot before the other Disney villains can. It's amazing. The game, it's 6 players. It's amazing.
Do we have to say not sponsored?
Not sponsored, but confirm. Sponsor me. No.
Rockin' game.
It's amazing.
I played it a couple times over New Year's when I was staying at their house, and it's pretty fun.
Jack and I played it to the point where like we played it with a big group, and then like slowly people would go to bed, and then Jack and I were up till about 2 a.m. just playing one-on-one.
Danny and I both have this problem where we'll just go, another round. Like we're both like kind of like, I don't know how you're feeling, but another round.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to say no, but we both really wanted to play, so we just kept rolling.
Rolling through.
And it was super exciting. So I confirm that's a great game.
So Disney's Villainous.
Villain. No, just a villain. It's technically just called Villainous. I think Disney's on there.
Disney just sponsored it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they're Disney villains.
It's all Disney characters. Cool.
It's a good game.
You can get so go check that out. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But Disney, hit us up.
Hey. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, speaking of sponsored though, if you'd like to be a help us out financially, you can be a patron on our Patreon, and you can give whatever you can. Anything is appreciated. It helps us to get equipment and go on our endeavors. We're looking to expand ourselves even more.
We're
as we
looking to get
continue in
actual
2020.
sponsors.
Yeah, if there's
So-
anyone out there that does. I promised a couple episodes ago that we would have merch coming soon. Coffee mugs, shirts, whatever. I have a couple artists, friends of mine, that are working on cartooning us for mugs and for shirts. So get excited about that. I think that we're just going to have to pull the trigger on that one and get some stuff out. But it is coming.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the first to get your hands on that, check us out on Patreon.
Yeah.
If
If
you
you
don't
guys-
already,
If you guys are like
go
a
ahead.
t-shirt company, a Catholic t-shirt company,
Yeah.
and you want to, low-key sponsor us,
you send us
we'd
some
be
stuff,
happy to wear your stuff
we will
on
rock
air.
your
Because
stuff.
anything that we can do to spread this network of Catholic community out there, we are super happy to do that. So get in touch with us on our Instagram at 2 Catholic Dudes. We are our DMs are always open.
Always.
And if maybe you're on the older generation out there, we're also on Facebook. We post our all the parents are on
I've
Facebook
gotten
still,
so
right?
many Facebook requests since we started this. It's been insane from like all over the world.
Yeah.
People message me from like other languages, and I'm like, I can't answer this. I have no idea.
I've been accepting everybody.
I just do a lot of thumbs ups.
I do thumbs up. I accept everyone. The Facebook does have a problem though. After you get to like 5,000, it caps you.
I'm
so
not even close.
all right, well, just keep saying yes. But so hit us up, whatever social media you're on. We love connecting with you. We got Tuesday Thoughts on Tuesday. Danny hits some real cool stuff. We got Psalm of the Week every Wednesday. I'm starting to bring guests on now that we got this cool podcast space, video space, and then our podcast always airs Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Thank you again, Jack, for being on the show.
Of course, thank
and
you for
making
having
the
me.
drive.
This is great.
With me, and yeah.
We got to
This is
land this
tons of
plane.
fun.
We're almost at 1 hour. This has been a great episode. Thanks, Jack. We will see you guys soon. That's
Peace.
it. See ya.